Hey everyone, welcome to my channel, and this is the last video of the beginner's guide. I am planning on doing some addendums to the beginner guide that are not necessarily have to be a part of it or part of my essential core for getting you started with tarot reading. But I'll see after this is done when I can get those recorded, and then probably jumping into an intermediate type of guide after this one. But first, welcome. Hi, my name is Victor, and for today's video, as the title suggests, this is going to be the beginner's guide, and this is going to cover crystals and all of the essential things that you need to know about crystals, on how to get started, and some of the things that you might have not known before, or even how to use them, how to pick them, things of that nature. So without further ado, let's get started. Before I jump right into talking about what the video is today, if you guys are really enjoying this content, please subscribe to the channel. I'm just trying to make something very, very small grow, and seeing how much you guys are really enjoying this, coming up with more of this kind of educational content to make something that may seem a little bit obscure into something a little bit more fun and friendly, like it's meant to be, because tarot is open for everybody, and then similar content related to this. So as I prep to do other kinds of content, and as well as coming up with my intermediate guide, feel free to subscribe so this way you don't miss that kind of content coming down the road. In addition, I do also have a Twitch channel. It is Victor_Lancaster, and in there I like to do free tarot readings on Sundays. So feel free to come by, get a reading, or just come and say hi. In addition, I'll also add my social medias in there, so this way you know when something is coming up, or just to keep up with things outside of this channel. So let's talk about crystals, because there are so many. I even have an entire pedestal right here just full of them for the most part. So what are they? What are they useful? How do we get your hands on them? How do you make good use of them, and things of that nature? So the first things first is that if you're just completely new to crystals or anything like that, then this will be the perfect guide, because the first thing that I want to talk about is how do you choose a crystal? Or even what kind of crystal should you even get to start off with? And it can be very complicated, especially because there are so many crystals out there. I mean, there's an entire rainbow plethora of stones, and it can be very, very overwhelming, especially for those that may not have any idea what they're about or what to even do with them at all. So to first get you started on the how to obtain a crystal, first is try to find a local metaphysical shop that may be able to sell some of these crystals. You can also look for them online, but I believe that it is very important for you to be able to handle the crystals, especially before you try to purchase it. If for some reason you go online and you go and purchase a crystal from there, just make sure that you look into their refund policy, because just in case that they try to sell you a crystal that is not what was there, it can get really messy. So you want to make sure that you actually are getting what you were looking for, especially if you're ordering online. If you're not sure kind of what to start, I would suggest just going to a metaphysical shop like I mentioned earlier, and just go and feel out any kind of stone that is there. You usually are surrounded by a plethora of stones from different colors, from different shapes, how rough they are or sizes, price tags, and everything in between. So there is no right or wrong answer in regards to what kind of crystal you want to get, especially if this is your first trip going into it. Just make sure that you try to feel out whatever stone really calls out to you. Don't be afraid to handle the stones themselves. See how you resonate with them. Use that intuition and use that gut feeling that we've been talking about throughout the entire series, and just heavily rely on that for this part of this section about crystals. If you're not really sure what you should get, Getting your birthstone is a really good idea. I will include a link into the description to see what kind of birthstone you fall into by just linking off to a website that will show you all the different birthstones depending on your zodiac sign. That is the first and foremost that you need to consider when you're looking at a crystal, is pick the one that calls out to you the most. If you're not really getting a vibe from any of them, getting your birthstone is a really good way to go. All right, then the next thing you need to consider is, okay, you picked up a crystal, you got them, they're in your possession, you made the purchase, and now you have them. What to do next with them? Make sure that any crystal you get, whether they were gifted to you or you were purchased it through online or through a metaphysical shop, that you actually take the time to cleanse it or to clear it. So make sure that when you go to your metaphysical shop, if you have no crystals whatsoever, that you at least are picking up something that's gonna help you cleanse it or clear it as well. So I highly recommend a carnelian. You can also pick up a crystal quartz, or you can also pick up a selenite, even if it's in a wand shape. Any of these three is going to help cleanse any of your crystals, as it's able to kind of clear out any negative energies that may be attached to them, and just make sure that whatever their purposes are for these particular crystals, that they're going to be for your own instead of carrying baggage from wherever it was the last. Now keep in mind that not all crystals are going to need cleansing. There is one particular one that really sticks out to me, and that's citrine. This particular crystal is a self-cleansing one, so you don't need to worry about getting that cleansed through any of the other crystals that I just mentioned, just because of the natural properties that holds within this crystal, which, by the way, it is one of my favorite ones. And then even once you have them all cleansed, there are also a few different ways to do them aside from just doing them with another crystal like the ones that I mentioned. You can also bathe them in the sun. You can also bathe them in the moonlight. You can also bathe them in water or in salt water. Some people like to dip them in rice or even dig them underground. The main purpose is to be able to purify any bad or negative energies associated to these crystals, so this way when they are in your possession, it brings a brand new purpose. Now be mindful that there are some crystals that if you put them out and expose them into the sun, it might discolor them. There are some crystals that if you expose them to water, they're just going to dissolve. I know selenite is one of those types of crystals. And if you try to bathe some of them in salt water, especially more of those rough stones, make sure that you clear out any salt crystals, as they may damage your crystal if they stay on them for a long period of time. If you decide to put them under rice, or if you decide to put them underground, make sure that you clean them out very nicely. Just kind of brush off any dirt or any residue that may come from any of these things that you put them under, just so that this way you are perfectly aware that you want to keep your crystals in good pristine condition, or at least as best as possible. You can also store these crystals into like a nice velvet bag or something where you can keep them stored and just keep them tucked away so you can pull them out whenever you need them. The main important thing is for you to be able to take good care of them and to cleanse out the negative energies attached to them once you get them. After you have gotten your crystal and you have gone through the process of cleansing them, now you need to give your crystal a purpose. And a lot of the times this can be a little bit difficult, because what do you mean by giving it a purpose? A lot of the crystals, once you get them, you want to make sure that they actually serve a particular purpose. Some crystals are really good at doing one thing over another. Some of them are really good for attracting you success and money. Some of them are really good at healing. Some of them are really good at cleansing. Some of them are for attracting love. Some of them are for better communication. Every crystal is going to have a different property associated with them that's going to be that they're going to excel at. Be mindful that when you program your crystal, that you give it a very specific purpose. For example, I program this crystal for healing. I want this crystal to help me with my back pain when it hurts the most, and that I may soothe me in these times of need. Make sure that those wordings when you program it are very specific, because you want to make sure that the crystal itself is going to serve that specific purpose for you. And the less vague you are about it and the less open you are about it, then the more it can help you for that particular intent. Again, when it comes to crystals, I think, and especially in programming, intent is everything. Now, be mindful that after some time, or maybe if you feel like you didn't do it correctly, you can repeat these steps. You can cleanse your crystal. You can imagine the aura around it, speak to your higher being so they can able to give this crystal the power that it needs and the energy necessary in order for you to serve its purpose. Communicate that purpose aloud, and you can reprogram it again. It is not a one-time thing and then that's always ever going to do. You can do these steps over again as needed. And now, great, you got your crystal, you were able to cleanse it, you programmed it for the intent that you want, and now where do you place it? Where do you keep it around? I know some people like to have it in their pockets, just so that this way they have that as a reminder of having it there. They can reach into your pocket. You can touch it there multiple times a day, just to kind of have that assurance. Some people like having it in specific places. For example, you can have it in your nightstand. You can have it in your bathroom or in the kitchen. You can have it in your study room, just to make sure that you are there to see it when you need it the most. You're able to remember it. You're able to kind of see the energy around it, and is gonna help you serve the purpose that it was meant to do. Yeah, that is the essentials of crystals. Now, in this next part, I really do want to cover maybe some crystals that you really should highly consider, especially as a beginner, to really help you through this journey. These are crystals that I think everyone, for the most part, should be getting, just because they are kind of like the essentials. Like when you go to school, you need to have a pen and paper, or you need to have a way to be able to record your notes. You need to have a backpack, like things like this. These are essential things that you need, and they're going to help you and go a long way for you as you go into this journey, as you pair up crystals with your tarot readings. So, for example, let's first talk about the crystal quartz. I think a clear quartz and a crystal quartz is really going to help you a lot, because the quartz, especially the clear quartz, has a multitude of purposes. Like I had mentioned earlier, it is a cleansing crystal, so you can use it to help cleanse other crystals, to make sure that that negative energy is not attached to some of these as you start to get them. In addition, it is also a great healing crystal because of how clear it is. It shows its purity. It was considered in many in other times that this is one of the purest crystals, because you can see through it. You can tell its intent is not and you can see its clarity through it. It is considered there to be something pure. And in addition, it also really does help other aspects as well, since the crystal quartz also has multitude of purposes, including being able to enhance other crystals like the amethyst or the citrine or anything else that you want to use. A crystal quartz is a clear quartz. It's something you are not gonna go wrong with, and I highly advise at least picking up one. It doesn't matter the size of it, just as long as you have one handy is really gonna go a long way for you. The next crystal that I will recommend is an amethyst. An amethyst is a really great crystal for de-stressing, making sure you get your mind cleared, making sure that everything is in order, especially in your head. This is a great crystal that is also used for many purposes, because whenever you're making big decisions, or whenever you are trying to make plans for the future, or if you're just having a long day from work, these are the kind of crystal that is going to help you relax and soothe and clear things off your mind that are not important, and it's going to help you have a lot more focus. You pair this up with a crystal quartz and you have a dynamic duo. Then the next one I want to talk about is the selenite. Now, selenite for me has become more and more important with time, because the selenite is just an amazing cleansing crystal in general. If you have been using your stones a lot of the times, if you just rest them on top of a selenite wand, or if you just have a selenite and you just want to keep them around where the stones are touching on the selenite, it's really going to help them just kind of cleanse and clear out any kind of negative energy, especially if you purchase these stones for the first time. You don't know who's been handling them, because you've been handling them yourself as well. Make sure that you take the time and a selenite crystal, a selenite wand. Anything selenite is really going to help drive that home, and it's going to help you feel 100% assured that your crystals are going to be nice and cleansed. The next one is that I know a lot of people talk about is the rose quartz. Now this rose quartz specifically is used to attract love. If you are somebody who is looking to attract a relationship or perhaps some love in your life, perhaps attracting a healthy kind of love, having that mutual understanding and that shared companionship, crystal quartz can really help you in achieving all of that. One of the really great things about the crystal quartz is that it really allows you to really harness in on its color, allows you to have more of an open heart, in my personal opinion, and it's just an overall good crystal if you want to attract those lovey-dovey energies into your life. Also, for those that did not know, there is a love corner in your home. Yes, a love corner that you can take advantage of that is going to attract a lot of love and a lot of healthy relationships into your life as long as you keep that space for its meant purpose. This is all part of feng shui, but if you go through the front door of your home, it is the backmost right part of your apartment or your home is going to be your love corner. I highly consider you have a rose quartz in that corner. And then the last one that I do want to recommend as a quarter crystal is a citrine. Now, citrine is my all-time favorite because this is the stone that I consider to be the success stone. This is stone that really allows you to feel very confident, have a lot of self-esteem, be able to feel assured of yourself, be able to make decisions confidently, and to expect success in the endeavors that you try to achieve. I love this stone not just because of the color, but even just the meaning behind it. If you are really looking to pick yourself up, to really gain some more confidence in your life, to feel stronger in the decisions that you make, and you're just looking for a break and trying to catch a little bit more of good fortune and success in your life, this is a good stone to pick up. And for those that may not know, if you, in a similar fashion to what I just talked about, the rose quartz and having a love corner in your home, there is also a money corner in your home. This is when you walk through the front door, it is the backmost left corner of your home. It is considered to be the money corner of your home. So highly consider putting a citrine in there to make sure that you keep attracting all those good vibes in there, and make sure that you keep that spot nice and clear so that all that success and that money can come right through your home. And these are the basic things that I wanted to cover in regards to crystals for this video. If there's something very specific that you do want a crystal for, whether it is a crystal specifically for healing or for communication or for something to be a little bit more adventurous or anything in between, feel free to just look it up on one of the guidebooks on crystals or look up something online. And like I mentioned before, these last 5 crystals that I just mentioned, I think is the core of everything that you need to have. If you want to expand more outside of that, feel free to do so. I know that crystals can come in many shapes and sizes. Some of them are considered to be more precious stones than others. I just want you to know that as long as you have the crystal in mind, precious or not, rough or coarse, whatever you want to look at it, the crystal itself is still going to serve its intended purpose regardless of how expensive it is. The power of the crystal is not based on the price tag, but based on your connection with it, regardless of how big or small it is. So thank you everyone for watching this video. I know that there is a lot more things that I can go into crystals themselves, but because of the intended purpose of being a beginner guide, these are the core things that you need to know about crystals. When I come out with an intermediate or maybe an advanced guide, then we can talk more specifically about the shapes and the colors and things of that nature, and maybe how some of these crystals are specifically associated with the tarot decks themselves. I believe those are just more advanced topics, even things that I need to look further into for me to feel confident to bring you that kind of information and dissect it. Based on everything that we have covered through this entire beginner guide from beginning to end, this is what you need to know in order for you to feel successful getting started. And these are the core foundation principles that is going to help you see a whole lot of success, and a big reason also why I left crystals for the very end, because even if you don't have crystals, you can still have a very successful and enjoyable tarot reading. This is more for if you want to dab into it and you want to have that enhancement, you have it here. And I really do hope that those of you who have picked up the series from beginning to end, that you have been able to find a lot of success in it. If there are maybe some things that I need to revise, or maybe some things I need to include or even remove, feel free to let me know in the comments. So this way, maybe in the future, when I come out with a revised version of this core beginner's guide, or even just adding as an addendum into the series, maybe I can add some clarifications or go into further detail about certain topics that were covered that perhaps I should have had. But this is all I have. I really hope that you enjoy this beginner's guide. Look forward in the future for more series like these. And also I hope you get to enjoy some of the other content that I do have for this channel as I plan to grow and expand from it. So without further ado, take care. Bye.